Winspiration, the way to the essential. On UK Health Radio, Winspiration brings wisdom and information for an extraordinary future. Together, we can shape the world we want to live in. So let's get real and create the idea. Be extraordinary. Welcome to another episode of Winspiration Radio, bringing you wisdom and information for an extraordinary future. And the extraordinary future, that can be a lot of things, but the main thing is for sure how we for ourselves create an extraordinary future, and what can we get a new information and wisdom. And today for sure we have interesting information and wisdom. My guest today is Charl de Villiers, and he was originally school principal and worked in the school with mentally retarded children, had children with this or epilepsy. And on this way, he discovered more and more the field of frequency. And today, I call him Doc, but he is not a classical school medicine doctor, but he works with frequency and is treating people in Gordons Bay, close to Cape Town, and has patients there and helps them via frequency to improve their life. So very interesting, and everybody should know about this. So thank you, Charl, for taking the time and talk today and share your information and wisdom about how frequency can improve people's life and how important it is, because normally we don't get this information in school or in normal life. So thank you for being there. And if you just want to add something about your personal history, how you came, otherwise I would like to hear a little bit about what made the switch from the school teacher to the frequency worker healer.
Wolfgang, thank you for having me here. It's quite an honor talking to you as a friend and as a patient. So I say thank you very much for this opportunity. You know, in life, things happen with people, and things happened to me as well in my life, where my late wife became very, very ill, misdiagnosed, and I thought at that stage there must be something else, something better, something more natural. And because I was working at that stage with deaf children, and everything is about frequencies of the ears and how the frequency gets into the brain. So a lot of study has gone into frequencies at that stage, and I did quite a lot of study in that. And then I met somebody that introduced me to how can you use frequencies on a natural way in healing people. And that is where it started 26 years ago. So for 26 years, I've been battling with frequencies and the healing process of frequencies. As you just said, everything what you can think of do have a frequency.
Yeah.
The earth, the stars, trees, people, you as a human being, everything that's in you do have a frequency. And if we can measure that, we can do something with it. And that is where it started.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And it was a personal experience or research. And unfortunately, like I said, we don't get the information in school. Even it's more the opposite, because of how I was raised. And if you look at the history in Europe, all these ladies, mainly women who knew about herbs and how to treat with them, they were burned and kind of witches. And so I also need to say, in the beginning, when I heard this Bachblüten, or this, it's a lot of essential oils and everything, I thought, yeah, it's a little bit spooky or everything. You don't need to take those people serious. But if you think in frequencies, then we get the understanding that every oil has a different frequency and can
and that is where the interesting side comes in. Is as soon as you look at specific things, you know that some stuff is the frequency is a healing frequency, or it may be a healing frequency as well.
Yeah.
So these are really the two. And in nature, we see it very, very clearly in the herbs, in the oils, and all those stuff that the people have been using for many, many years. If you look at the Chinese, they've been using frequencies in a
Yes.
different way, but it's been
Yes.
there. When you look at the people in India, and there they use frequencies differently, but when you really compare those, it's the same. And in the Western world, it took us a bit longer to look at these things and experience these things.
And see it when or let's say let's translate it. I have
Yes,
in my consulting also. So often things are obvious, we see it, but we
yes,
don't make the, let's say, call it transition. What does it mean for me? If I go in a room and people are sad or depressed, I feel it directly. They don't need to tell
exactly.
me anything.
Yes,
If I
yes,
go in a room where people are really happy, extremely happy, I feel
exactly.
a different frequency. But
Yes,
I didn't realize it really, and didn't
yes.
make the connection to this.
And nowadays we are looking deeper and deeper into the body and the frequency.
Yeah.
Not only what's in the frequency in the body that you can see and feel, but even in the frequency, I think you've just mentioned it is so important, is that the frequencies that is dealing with the subconscious of the body. And yes, we will talk perhaps about that a bit later. But frequencies to me has a completely new meaning. I found a lot of things, like for instance, in different stones
Hmm.
and in different plants.
Hmm.
Uh, and there are medicine in that, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it affects you and how it affects the body. And
Yeah.
then the big thing is, nowadays with the modern computers, we
Hmm.
can measure it, and that is the beauty of this whole thing, is that you can go into a body and measure certain things that you need to know. Where in the past, in 100 years or 50 years ago, in,
It
in,
was
in,
not
in
possible.
our world, it was
Hmm.
impossible.
Yeah.
The Chinese, they've done it with their needles, and they've done it with the touching and the pressure points and things.
To
Their
get the energy
resistance,
flowing again or whatever.
they could
Hmm.
feel it. Feel it
Hmm.
in their hands, they could use it. But
Would you
nowadays,
say with the acupuncture they talked about frequency? So that was frequencies. I just got it with, okay, there's an energy block. Okay, you
it's
always can
energy.
come
Yes,
back to
it
frequencies
is.
again.
And yes, because energy is frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and,
sure.
we,
Yeah,
and we know that we've got energy fields in our body.
yeah,
And nowadays we can, as I said, we can measure those things, and we can say, okay, this is where we can go, and this is what we can do with frequencies.
yes.
I,
And we need all the different understanding for it. Well, you just say here, let's go for an extraordinary future, whatever that is. I'm more
yes,
we need all to agree what personally or for a society is extraordinary. But we know if it's extraordinary, it's a totally different frequency than what we have today.
exactly.
And if I see just now the discussion Ukraine war, they say, yeah, do we have like I'm from Germany, so say the Germans should we deliver whatever tanks or whatever
Yes,
weapons, and then they say on the other hand, oh, can we make peace? When they talk about peace, it's just stop shooting.
yes,
And in our terms, he would say peace is a totally different frequency than just stop
exactly,
shooting.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's another completely another level.
yeah,
Now, I always say it is to me, it's so interesting when you see people communicating with one another, is
yeah.
that the communication is sometimes not
Hmm.
really what you say, but it is what
Exactly.
it, there's something else going to that other person. Lots of people talk about body language. Some
Hmm.
people say you got a connection with other people. Have you ever gone into a restaurant and you sit and suddenly you just feel somebody over there is
Hmm.
making a connection with you? And then you look up
Yeah,
and you can greet the person. There's a
yeah,
connection. There was a
yeah, yeah,
frequency flow between people.
yeah.
Now, with war and peace and all those things, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, and what you say now, it's between the people is something happening. In the in-between, team spirit and everything, it's an in-between. You don't see it in the person itself directly. Mm.
And in our practice here, it's so strange. Like, for instance, in the COVID area, I treated much more people with fear than people with COVID.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fear.
Yes.
And
Well, that is okay. That is what whatever the rulers love to do, but also I experienced this in my childhood. My parents also worked to manipulate me, that I'm following what they wanted with fear. If you're not doing that, then. If you're not doing that, then. Yeah.
And like I always say, fear is a killer.
Yes.
Because you can control. You control people. You control nations.
Yeah.
And now let's get back to the war. This big Russia said, okay, I'm going to come down. And this small little country said, no, it's not going to happen. So they've cut out a certain amount of fear. But in any case, there's communication between people, and there's communication, there's frequency running in the body, so that the one organ is communicating with the other. You just talked about war. There may be a war in.
I wanted not to talk about the war so much, and about the different wording of peace. Yes. If they just stop shooting, that is not. Yes. It's just a different way of fighting.
What I'm trying to say is that sometimes there's a war in your body.
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the one organ is being attacked, and the other one is suffering because of the attack.
Yes.
The frequency flow in the body as well.
Yeah, I'm saying in the Bible it says, "My breath should be with you 120 years," and the modern science says our body is made for 120, even maybe 150 years. So what we do is we kill us before.
Yes, exactly.
But we never looked at the frequencies. My information, where it comes from, is you know more about it. I heard when Russia also started bringing men in space, they were thinking, how can we treat them if they get sick? You don't have doctors on board. First of all, they had one person, then maybe a little bit later two. So they started the idea with these frequency checking. Is it true that it comes from there?
Yes. Let me put it to you this way. They started long before we started with it. They started with communications between a person in one room and a person in another room.
Okay, yeah.
That is how they started. They said, okay, if I can communicate them with frequencies, I can do it in space as well. So yes, that was a big shift in this whole thing. Is that because the whole purpose of treatments with frequencies is not always to have the person with you, but the person can be far away.
Yeah.
And you can still treat a person over a certain, like for instance, you were in Germany and I was sitting in South Africa, and I could treat you where you were there.
Yeah.
Communication.
Yeah, with quantum physics, the particles. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. And I understood from that what I heard, and I met people in Germany who they called it Obotron as a machine. And the basic idea from the Russians, that's what I heard. I never proved it. They just, let's say, simply have 1,000 people who think they are very healthy. Then they measure the frequency of 1,000 kidneys who are healthy. And then they have an average frequency of the healthy kidney, or the average frequency of a healthy liver and all the organs. And then later they just check people and says, oh, your frequency of kidney is not the normal kidney. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that is part of it. It's not everything, but if you measure in frequencies, you ask the body a question. So the frequency will penetrate into the body, and it will bounce back, and you will say, okay, but now you are 70 years old, so your kidney should be plus minus in this bracket. So
Yeah.
it will measure it against that and say, okay, it's overactive or underactive, or there's something wrong. And then it will go in deeper
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, but why is there a discrepancy? Why is that kidney not in the normal range? Because there must be a reason for it to be like that.
So then we can discuss a normal range. I understand that because that everywhere is done like this, taking other 70-year-olds, but
yes.
the other 70 years old messed up also, maybe. Do we really need to be in this range with the kidney of the 70s? Couldn't we live different?
You see, you have to look at, say, for instance, we're talking about kidney.
We start there to find the problem.
The kidney may be, okay, normal, but it's a stress factor that is influencing the kidney's work. So the kidney may be absolutely normal, but then there is a stress factor. So you have to measure the stress factor and measure where does it come from.
Yes,
because
that's so
it's
important.
coming from it's an outside source or an inside source that's influencing this normal-looking kidney. But
well, that's so interesting. You mentioned, and I should say, I met you in your clinic because I got a recommendation that I should visit you when I last year made a short trip to check out South Africa, Cape Town, if I want to stay there longer for a winter. And even if I was just a few days there, I took it serious to visit you in the clinic, and you started to scan everything. And from there, I know it's not just a protocol of frequencies. Like when you said, where does it come from? You also gave me a lot of information about, look at this emotional problem, look at these and that, to solve there, because what kind of problem creates what kind of frequency?
Yes. Wolfgang, in the last 5 years of my practice, I've made huge paradigm shift. I had to think differently. And I've moved really to this area to find out where is illness originate from. Why do a person get cancer? Why is he prone to something else? And more and more and more, I've moved into the emotional side of things. To measure emotions and to say, okay, this is connected to the organ or to the whatever that may be, the heart or the lungs. Or so more and more I've moved into that direction, and more we've hit the nail on the head. So I've done a lot of study. I've done study in Germany, 6 month study. I'm not going to name places, but it was so interesting because it was done by medical oncologists, and they've moved completely away from medicine. And they've gone into the emotional side of things, and that was, to me, was absolutely fantastic. So I came back and I said, okay, I've done the medical thing. Now let us look at the emotional from another perspective. One of the perspectives that I've used was the Bible. And I've measured those against what the doctor said, and they matched. The one called it X and the other one will call it Y, but it's the same thing, and it comes down to the same thing. So I've done a lot of other study, and I went to America and to find out specialists working in the field with emotions, and I found a number of them. So that I brought back, and I said, okay, let me sort of specialize in this field, because I want to know, where does it originate from? Where is it coming from? And why did it happen? Very interesting.
Not treating the symptoms, not the effect, so really look for the cause. And if the cause is solved, then the effect is gone.
Yes. And it is one of the things, when you find out, or you can tell a person, go and look at this specifically. I can give you many examples, but I just want to mention you one. I had a person here that really there was a lot of stress in that person.
Mm-hmm.
So we found out that during pregnancy, when that person was in the womb,
Mm-hmm.
his mother worked in a bakery,
Yeah.
and she was leaning against a drum where they mixed the bread.
Yes. Yeah.
Every time she was leaning towards this, the heartbeat, the baby, the fetus couldn't
Mhm.
hear the heartbeat. He
Wow.
just heard this other sound going around.
Yeah.
And then after 10 or 20 minutes, he heard his mother's heart again. Okay, he was born normally.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he turned 30 years old, he had a huge illness. And we
Yeah.
found out that it is from that happened in the womb. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to clear that out and get it out, and he healed himself. It was miraculous. It was marvelous to see it.
Yeah.
Something that happened 30 years ago. It was
I can really
beautiful.
relate to this, and in my case also, you never know what all. There's a lot of things that can happen during pregnancy and during the birth. In my case, I all my life had the feeling I can't do things alone. I need other people to help me. And then realized in a session, during the process of birth, I was stuck, and I
Yeah.
couldn't go out alone. So they
Yeah.
pulled me out.
Yeah.
So I could
Yeah.
only live if someone helped me. Huh? So, and
Exactly.
that was in all my business life and everything until I finally could solve this. And then, okay, now I can do things on my
And
own.
you,
Huh? Yeah.
because lots of the things that's in the subconscious
Yeah.
is being away. You know, we as men sometimes suffer much more with it because we are brought up. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. And then you tend to
Yeah.
lock up your emotions and just file it in the back and just sort of move over.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else happens, you become ill, and then you got to
Yeah.
open this. Now,
Yeah.
as I say, don't open it up
Yeah.
because it's past. But you really realize that it is affecting the body.
Well, that's the first step. You talked about medicine, or I experienced with my problems. Also, that I went to a lot of so-called doctors, and it took me. I don't know why it took so long, but it's the society is programming you.
Yeah.
If you see, they're studying medicine, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and not health.
Yes.
And I later then asked around the globe,
Yeah.
in Australia, America, Kazakhstan. I had to, I asked us, are here doctors in the room? How long did you study? 6 years. Yeah, a lot of tests,
Yes.
verbal, written. Yes,
Yes.
yes. How many tests needed you to do about health?
Yes.
Everywhere,
Yes.
zero.
Zero. Because the thing is, they prescribe you a drug, and they say,
Exactly,
take that.
exactly.
That drug cannot heal. That
Yeah,
drug usually it
yeah.
just make it feel more acceptable.
Yeah, but
Uh,
what you said now, I get my problem in the womb or during birth, and then
yeah,
I go to the so-called doctor. He is
yeah,
not only helping me really in this case, so he's programming really the problem more because yes, you have a problem there and you need the pill. So I can't
yes,
solve it. I
yeah,
can't change
yeah.
my
No.
emotions. Huh? Yeah.
And you know, really, I always say that the people that studied for
Mhm.
doctors are really not doctors.
Yeah,
They,
medicine,
they,
medicine. But just to be clear,
they,
I know a lot of great doctors as well. It's not everybody is not 100%, but the system is not producing good
exactly.
doctors.
Yes.
And those
Yes.
who are really good doctors, it's their personal interest and personal education,
Yes.
what they do after being at
Yeah.
the
And
university. Yeah.
you see, that is why I said to you, when a person is in our rooms and we start with the evaluation of that
Yeah.
specific person, it is not only a sector that we do the whole body, because I really believe that we are created in one perfect body.
Yes.
And then as life goes on, we sort of mingle with stuff and mess up our bodies.
Yes.
It's not only the body as you see it, but it's the emotion,
Yes. Yeah.
the inner part goes with it, and the inner
Yeah.
part is actually remembering and filing
Yes.
away a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that we have to open it up. We have to look at that
Yeah. And that's
because
why
that,
also this so-called plastic surgery for anti-aging is a big illusion, because you just paint from the outside and not really changing something.
you see the inside
Yes.
doesn't get older. It stays as
Yeah.
the day you were born. It's exactly the same. But
Yeah.
it's the outside. And then if you cut the upside and you change it, it's
It
not
will not
going to
work.
help you.
No.
No, we've
Just before we dive deeper in your know-how and wisdom of frequency, let's just make a short break.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Okay, and now coming to I came up here with war and everything and doctor system, whatever. We want to have the chance and the wisdom to learn from you the frequency. So if you then dive in, what is your experience, what you learned, and what wisdom you can share with the audience?
I think that really is, first of all, we have to understand frequencies. That is point number one. Like, for instance, we're talking about the body. If I scan a person with frequencies and I found something is wrong in the heart, then I can say, okay, let us go deeper into the heart. If there's a virus or a bacteria sitting in the heart, it will pick that one up because it is different from
frequency.
the heart's vibration. There's a new frequency that we picked up.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is one thing that we've got to remember. If I look at the heart, and I see the heart is absolutely in a perfect way, but it shows stress, then you have to ask, where is the stress coming from?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so that is the big thing. It is so it's understanding that it can read whatever is present in the body, whether it is shielded away. There's a specific specialist that calls it walls around organs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you protect yourself
Yes.
of not opening up. You cannot open up. Now, in our practice, we go in very, very deep. And even as far as DNA and RNA and the molecular system of how things are put together, because that is where the emotions are actually coming in. Okay, so
when you say we go deep, from my experiences, you with your technique and frequency checker, you go extremely deep. But for the patients, that nobody gets now afraid. Oh gosh, do I need to cry and everything is dangerous? Or no, do I need to face fear? I can see it was one of the most relaxing situations I had in your clinic. Yeah.
It is very relaxing. And because the thing is, when you scan a person, they must feel at ease with you as a person.
Yeah.
Because lots of times when you see a doctor, you're not at ease because
blood pressure goes up.
The first thing you want to know, I've seen it with so many patients in my clinic. The first question they will ask is, do I have cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a huge afraidness, fear for cancer. Sometimes I would say to a person, yes, there is, but so what about it?
Mm-hmm.
Then the next question, can we cure it? If it's early and we see it, yes. Otherwise, it will take time, but we can see it and we can do something about it. Instead of, you've got cancer and you've got 8 months to live.
Yeah.
That is the difference, because people want to know how long. Because each and every cancer that's been put across to people is a death sentence.
Yeah, there we're here on the right platform. The UK Health Radio platform is founded by Johan Ilgenfritz. He was a fashion photographer, and the doctors exactly said this: we can't do anything for you anymore. You have 6 months to live. However, they go home, get your affairs done, and that's it. And he realized and learned about that cancer only can live if he has an acid environment. So he changed his food and everything. And now that's why he founded then the UK Health Radio platform, that people get other information. And now, 10 years after this, what the doctor said, we are talking here.
And he's still alive.
Yes. And he's full of power.
And he's got to change his diet. He's got to look at life differently.
Yes.
He's got to make
a transformation. And like we also shared, is if you're really ready for the transformation, you don't need the reincarnation. not everyone. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, how does this really work? Frequencies. I say it. Some people do differ from me. I say frequencies cannot really heal you or cure you.
Yeah, sure.
Session that we do with people is training sessions.
Mm-hmm.
The frequencies train the body.
We need to check something, Charl. Your voice is gone. The sound is gone. Check again.
Can I repeat myself?
No, now I hear you. Mm-hmm.
What I say, I can't remember now what I was talking about.
That's a frequency can't heal.
Yes, frequency cannot heal.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, frequency is a training program for the body. Say, for instance, you've got a heart defect.
Mm-hmm.
It started somewhere. So that somewhere is the emotion. So you've got to take that away.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got to teach the body to heal itself, because we have been created to heal itself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That is why you've got an immune system.
Yeah.
Now, I do not believe in things like that your body will attack itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got an immune system. Why will the immune system attack you? Okay, but that is now beside the point. What I'm trying to say is that frequency is a teaching method so that the body can heal itself. So we give the body its frequency, the correct frequency for that specific area. And then the body must take that in and use it to its advantage. So we test a person now, and then we can test the person 5 months later and see whether there's an improvement or not.
Yeah.
And I take you for an example. The first time you were with us, and a few months after that, we tested you again, and I said to you, that's the percentage, that's improvement in this area, improvement in that. I'm not satisfied with this, but we can work on it for the later. So there is a constant growth by the body itself. And I've seen it so many times. I've seen it thousands of times when you can determine exactly where the problem is, and give answers. Yeah. Because when you're at doctors, you do not always receive answers. No. You receive medications and okay, next, and there you go. It is like a factory. It comes in one time and out on the other side.
Well, that's why I'm so happy that I found you. I was recommended to you, and that we can talk about it. The frequency is just a general word. Frequency is everything what you can see, but the frequency is transporting a special information. No, like the heart frequency has the information of the healthy heart.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we provide the heart with a normal, healthy frequency. Yeah. And sometimes the patient will not take that. It'll take time because there's blockages. Once again, the emotions are there. They are working all the time. So that is why you have to get rid of the emotion and put it to a side and clear that out. And you've got to assist the body with eating correctly. Yeah, here's a very important thing what I learned with that. Because of the different frequencies, I never was thinking that I need to also eat maybe different frequencies. Yeah. you see, the thing is with eating, people will say to me, "But I'm a healthy eater." But
Yeah.
Are you correct eating correct food?
Yeah.
In the world that we live today, when you're in Switzerland and it's winter, you can go into a shop and buy stuff from South Africa that's produced in the summer year, but it's selling in the winter, and you shouldn't eat it
Yeah.
because there are seasons and there's a special.
The body needs something different. Yes.
That's it. It needs what's in season. So you have to eat in season as far as possible.
Yeah.
In any case, and then on the other hand, I look at the blood group. Why do we have different blood groups? Animals do not have different blood groups, but the human being do have. So there is a method in eating according to your blood group. Now,
Yeah.
lots of people say, "Nah, it's rubbish." But in my experience over the years, I see really that it's
Yes.
working.
So in general, I can totally agree. There might be for every person something special, different, that this food or that not is so optimal. But I agree. I don't know, 20 years ago when I heard about the blood group, and I can watch it with a lot of people, that the general thing is totally right. If you mess up there, you get the problems.
Oh yes, and I've seen beautiful results in the combination of eating correctly, do the inner healing, and you work on the frequency. It's a combination that's so natural.
Yes, well, that's the problem. We're not natural anymore. Yeah,
exactly. When you really look at food that you buy from the preservatives and all those stuff, so you have to look at things and. In actual, treatment is holistic. Once again, we get back to the heart. If you've got a heart problem, you do not treat the heart and the heart only. You have to treat the pancreas. You have to treat the thyroid. You have to treat all the organs, because the organs, if one of them is not working, we talked about war. If there's a war on in the heart area, everything else is influenced. Like, for instance, there's wars in Ukraine now, and we suffer in South Africa because we cannot buy certain stuff. So indirectly, we're involved in that war. Now, the same in the body is that the body, you go to a specialist, he looks at your heart, he will only work on your heart.
Yes, exactly.
What about the rest? What about the rest?
Yeah.
So that is why in our setup that we've got here, in the clinic that we've got, it's not only one, it is the body.
No, it's so maybe we have an individual fingerprint, we have an individual digestion system, everything is individual. And I'm so happy that we have no machines and wise men that help us to really figure out the individual topic I have. Yeah.
So just what to mention to you now is the treatment that we do over the air. Because lots of people, they do not understand, how can I treat Wolfgang when he's in Switzerland and I'm sitting in South Africa? How does it work? And there we make use of a different kind of frequency that we use. We use scalar waves. Now, scalar waves is something I cannot explain to you because I'm not a scientist, but it is very scientific. If we do have your DNA, if I've got your DNA with me, then I've got you. Then I've got your.
You took my fingernail, a piece of the fingernail, and so you had the DNA.
Yes, so I've got the DNA, and I've got a special box computer that I put it in, and then it bombards that DNA with the scalar waves, and then we send it out. Now, with the scalar waves, the further it goes, the it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. That is why I can put you there.
Wow.
But how does it find you? Now, I always compare it with a cell phone.
Yes, exactly.
I've got your number, your cell phone number, and you're in Switzerland or in Germany or where.
Yeah.
It tells you your little code, and it goes, and your telephone will ring.
Yes.
Now, when you look at the body, it is an antenna on itself because it's you. That is why you can make contact with somebody across the room, because you send out and you receive all the time.
Yes.
Like, I've if I've got your number, your DNA, I can find you wherever. Now, scalar waves travel through the earth.
With us, yeah. And we know from quantum physics, with the German word is Verschränkung, this, if you have particles who were once together, and now they can be extremely far in the universe. Okay, we couldn't test it till Mars so far, but that even faster than speed of light, if you change something on the other one, it changes there. Yeah.
You know how I tested it? I tested this for 2 years before I started using it. And I thought I tested, and I tested with babies.
Okay, before you share more, then let's make a short break.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
So how did you test it?
Now, I got hold of people with babies, and I said, listen, I want to use you as a test. And the first thing they asked me, can it damage my child? I said no. and it's a valid point.
Yes, sure.
It's a valid point. So I asked a lot of people with babies, if you've got a problem, just phone me. So it started one by one. People would phone me and said, listen, my baby, we're on the farm here outside. Can you just check if there's any problem? I said, thank you very much. I'll do it. And I took the little fingernail and put it into the little box. And then I tested the child. And then I would phone the parent and say, I've seen this, this, and this. And then they say, can you treat it? I said, yes. And then we started. And 2-3 days after that, they would report back. Wow. And that is how we started. And the next thing is that I've started with dogs. I've used some of their fingernails and their hair clippings, and I've tested them over a certain distance just to see. And then I said to the people, okay, send me your fingernails from wherever, and then don't tell me what's wrong with you. I don't want to know anything. I will just test you. That was now years ago. And I said, I will test you and tell you what is wrong with you. And that is how we started. And I said, okay, no, this is working. And then there are a lot of people all over the world that's doing very much the same, but on different levels. We've got people that's really only doing real work in certain areas. And we are in constant contact with one another. If we find something that somebody has developed somewhere, we take that in and we test it and we let them know. So, and you know, there are certain universities. I'm studying at the moment at my doctorate, busy with my doctorate from Cyprus. University in Cyprus, they are a holistic university. And I've done my first couple of diplomas already, working towards my doctorate. And I hope I will get my doctorate before I'm 80 years old. But
I know you shared you're 76, huh?
Yeah, 76.
Yeah.
So, the thing is that the constant new things is now coming onto the market.
Yes.
And we have to test those things, and because they sell it to people, and I'm very wary that when people do this, it must be correct. If it's not correct, and that is why I spend a lot of time on helping people and training people as well to get this ball rolling. Because you need sound medical background.
So do I understand it right? You're training people or educate people that they can do it by themselves and opening up a clinic.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody, or if you're listening here and interested, I didn't say it now. You need to have a part of the fingernail, Charles, and I know clients or family of clients, they send the fingernail to him in his clinic, and then he can make the scan and treat him even for that, for even help people who can't go really to Gordon's Bay where he is located. And if you train people that are more around the globe doing this, wonderful.
It's small baby steps, but I've got 30 years of experience and study.
Yeah.
And just to lose it, it's a bad thing. You
Yes,
have
sure.
to,
Yeah. The world
you have
needs
to
that.
positive,
Yes, yeah. Or the people needs it better. Yeah.
It takes the real thing out of nasty things that happens to people.
Yeah, no, I'm here not the guinea pig, or let's say, because of 50 years experience, but for me, it is really meeting you the first time last year in July. Now it's the end of February. So what is it, 8 months? So, and I feel a huge improvement in my quality of life. So thank you for that. I only can recommend, and that's why I also recommended you to clients. Yeah. Mm.
Thank you very much. Because the thing is, the sky's the limit at the moment.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I've got quite a number of patients in Scotland, in England, in Germany, and France. People just contact us, and then we work on them.
Yeah. If you really
That's what's
understand,
so nice.
DHL delivers fingernails everywhere.
Yesterday we had a knock on the door, DHL, with fingernails from your people there in Switzerland.
Yeah.
So it is so easy, and the main thing is you cannot damage the body. Like for instance, once again, if you're in the medical field and they cut something out, it's out. Or they give you certain medication, it can heal you, but it can damage you as well, because each and every medication do have a side effect.
Yeah.
Now, with frequencies, if I pump you full of frequencies, but it's the wrong frequencies, your body will say, I don't need it. And it will go in and it will just chuck it out.
Yes.
So the only side effect from time to time is that when you treat people, they can feel a bit tired.
Yeah.
Some people are very, very, they feel that I can
so
work.
Tired the day, not
like that. Not like that. Somebody phoned me from Namibia the other day and said, are you working on me because I feel it in my body? I said, yes. I've been. She can really feel it.
Yes.
She's extremely sensitive.
Super.
So she can feel it. It is absolutely marvelous.
Yeah, it's really an incredible what's possible there today. And in Germany, we have a professor who is a kind of super guru in smells. And he made studies, if you use this, then people buy more in the shop. And so that's how he started a lot of, why is it this? Why is the red wine from Spain not really giving you the vacation feeling when you're home? And all those, what he studied. And he, in his book about that, wrote the medicine will change and they have to look at essential oils because of the frequencies and all that. He just mentioned it, and there comes, like we call it, energy medicine or frequency managing. Because I was always wondering, everybody says we create all the time new cells. So why, if I get a new cell and I'm 60, why should the new cell just directly play the game of I'm 60? It's a new cell. So it must be my energy field to explain them. We don't want the young ones here playing, become old directly. And this is a reverse of it, really helping the new cells we are getting stay young. And in this way, a different way of becoming young.
You see, the thing is with what we do here is that we teach people that there are different ways.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I would treat somebody and it will not work.
Yeah, sure, can be.
It really happens.
Yeah.
And you're stuck. And you can do whatever you want to. You can look into the emotion. It's not working. Now, you find exactly the same thing in the medical field. Like, for instance, you and me can have the same thing, and they can give you a pill and it will help. For me, it will not help.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes you get people.
You need to figure it out. Yes.
And then you've got
to figure it out. And sorry, Charl, and the time is already over. It's so fast.
Okay. But it was so nice.
Like I said, you can contact him, and his company name, a clinic name is Sound Waves. We will put the web address here also and the link. Feel free to contact him. his wife Anna-Marie normally is doing the communication part, and really take a look at it. And frequency is so much more than you maybe thought. It's not just about the music of the radio. It's not just the mobile phone. Charl just said it is really increasing health and your lifestyle, quality of life. Thank you, Charl, for
such an honor talking to you. Thank you very much.
It is so wonderful to hear also that you share it with the world, and that we get more and more of this. And for sure, we stay in contact. And thank you again, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.
This was another episode of Winspiration, Wisdom and Information to support you getting out of illusions, false identifications, limiting beliefs. We all have the power and potential to be more, do more, have more, give more. Reality is what is possible in the universe, and the best is yet to come. If you want to dive deeper into possibilities of creating the extraordinary future, go to winspiration.global or to wolfgangsonnenburg.com. More information and some free downloads like the email program Dream Goals Reality or a copy of the book The Best Is Yet to Come can be found on the UK Health Radio website under the Listen on Demand and Presenters section. Join us again next week on the Winspiration Show for more wisdom and information to create your extraordinary future.